Incredible discovery. Millionaire rescues two stranded twins in Snowstorm. Their gift touched his heart. The blizzard raged as Jack Thompson navigated the icy roads of Maple Grove, Minnesota. He was a self-made millionaire, and yet, as he peered through the swirling snowflakes, a deep emptiness gnawed at his insides. 6 years had passed since the last time shared laughter filled his family dinner table. The void widened as he accelerated past the glowing lights of the community center. All those years buried under dollar signs and ambition. Suddenly, through the blizzard, two figures stumbled into sight, two twins, Lucy and Emma, struggling against the storm. Jack slammed on the brakes, his SUV skidding slightly, and he opened the door to let the howling wind roar in. Their cheeks were red, eyes wide with determination despite the biting cold. "Can you help us?" Emma gasped, her voice nearly lost in the fury of the storm. Without hesitating, he ushered them inside the warmth of his luxury vehicle. The twins radiated an energy that was enchanting, filling the air with a hopeful spirit. "We were on our way to the fundraiser for the shelter," Lucy exclaimed, her bright smile a stark contrast to the bleakness outside. Jack felt a gripping warmth in his chest, a sensation he hadn't felt in ages. It was just a car ride, but their optimism tugged at long-forgotten dreams buried beneath his relentless pursuit of wealth. As they drove, the twins shared heartwarming stories of families pushing through tough times. They spoke of a world where kindness took precedence over dollars, a world Jack had distanced himself from. "I used to help out," Jack admitted, his voice cracking, "when I was younger." "Why stop?" Emma asked, her innocent curiosity cracking through the armor around his heart. "Life happens," he mumbled, the weight of guilt pressing down heavily. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As they reached the community center, Jack's heart raced. The twins urged him to join them in delivering donations. "Just a few hours, please." Lucy's eyes sparkled with hope. Jack's head swirled with confusion. Could he step outside the barrier of his self-imposed isolation? The warmth of their cause felt electrifying, yet the thought was terrifying. Through each donation handed over, Jack felt his defenses cracking. Each moment spent with those families reconnected him to the humanity he had forgotten. He shared laughter, stories, and even a few tears, his heart becoming lighter. Then, in a fleeting instant, he recalled a pair of girls from his past, ones who had been the reason his family had started their charitable foundation. The girls' laughter echoed in his memory, intertwining with the Christmas Eve nights filled with laughter and love. Tension filled the air. Jack felt the pull between returning to his hollow life of opulence or embracing the community he had neglected for so long. As Lucy and Emma giggled over a story, Jack knew that this snowfall wasn't just outside. It was brewing within him, urging him to choose between abandoning the son he had been or embracing the man he could be. As their laughter rang out, Jack felt more alive than ever, standing at a crossroads, an opportunity for redemption brighter than the snow around him. As the glow of the community center wrapped around him like a warm blanket, Jack hesitated at the threshold. He felt a jolt of fear mixed with excitement. He glanced down at the twins, who still bubbled with enthusiasm, their shivering laughter piercing through the storm that seemed to rage just as fiercely inside him. "Come on, Mr. Thompson." Lucy tugged at his sleeve, her eyes sparkling with hope. "We need your help." It was easy to get lost in the energy of the moment, but Jack felt the pull of the old him, his life of luxury, meetings, and trades. Yet standing there, amidst the laughter and warmth, he couldn't shake off the flutter of hope growing in his chest. Stepping inside felt like surrendering to something larger than himself. The din of the community center enveloped him as they entered. It was a hub of activity, filled with families, volunteers, and the joyful chatter of children. Tables piled high with donations beckoned to be sorted while people moved about with purpose, all united by the cause of giving. It was a stark contrast to the hollow halls of his mansion that echoed only with silence. Jack took a deep breath, inhaling the sweet scent of cinnamon and pine mingling in the air. He realized that this was the kind of atmosphere he had long forsaken. The twins tugged him through the crowd, their laughter drawing smiles and waves from familiar faces. "Look everyone! Mr. Thompson came!" Emma shouted, her voice ringing out like a bell. Jack's heart fluttered uneasily at the sudden attention. "Thank you for coming to help," one woman said, her arms filled with blankets. The genuine gratitude in her eyes stirred something within him. Jack nodded, a small smile creeping onto his lips, the corners of his mouth rising for the first time in what felt like months as they sorted through donations. Jack watched the twins scamper around, their spirits seemingly untouchable by the biting cold outside. Each time Lucy or Emma handed a toy or a warm jacket to a grateful family, Jack felt an invisible thread connecting him to them, to the community, to the love that seemed to flow freely. It was intoxicating. Suddenly Jack caught sight of a young boy, shivering in a thin jacket, clutching a worn-out stuffed animal. Memory crashed down like snowflakes, reminding him of his own son, who at that age had similarly clung to his favorite toy. A pang of longing welled up inside him, mingled with a twinge of regret. "What's wrong, Mr. Thompson?" Lucy asked, her voice gentle, as if sensing the turmoil brewing within him. "Nothing, everything," he replied, a lump forming in his throat. Words failed him, and he swallowed hard, meeting their wide eyes. "I've missed so much." "Then don't miss more," Emma said, offering him a soft, knowing smile. "You can still help." Their simple faith in him felt like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. His heart raced as he realized that those minutes under the stormy sky were just a glimpse of what was possible. Jack turned to the twins, gratitude swelling inside him as he squeezed their hands. "You both are amazing. Thank you for bringing me here tonight." But just as he felt a flicker of hope ignite, a sharp crack sounded from the stacked boxes of donations, sending a murmur through the crowd. Jack turned to see a towering stack of supplies teetering dangerously, ready to topple over. "Watch out!" he yelled, springing forward as the boxes began to fall. Would he be able to save the donations and perhaps salvage something of himself along the way? Jack sprinted toward the boxes, his heart pounding as adrenaline surged through him. One box tipped precariously, then another cascading like an avalanche. He could see the eyes of everyone in the room widen, the moment frozen in time. "Help me!" he shouted, reaching for the nearest box before it could hit the ground. He felt the weight of the supplies shift under his fingers and, as if in slow motion, he could feel the frantic energy of the crowd swell. People rushed to assist. "Jack, over here!" Lucy's voice pierced through the chaos as she grabbed a box just in reach. Together they maneuvered their arms, pulling and pushing, the weight of responsibility connecting them deeper than any shared laughter could. With a team of volunteers they worked quickly. Some steadied the wobbling stacks, while others helped lift fallen boxes back into place. The air filled with urgency and a shared mission, and in that moment Jack sensed something he almost forgot existed: community. Finally, the last box was righted, and Jack turned to see Emma's wide eyes sparkling. "You did it, Mr. Thompson," she exclaimed, her voice bubbling over with joy. He felt the warmth spread through him, an unexpected rush of pride. "We did it," he corrected, chuckling softly, realizing how alive he felt among these faces. The tension in the room slowly dissipated, replaced by an undercurrent of laughter, light chatter, and applause for the collective effort. The moment had anchored him in a way nothing had in years. Just then, as he looked around, his gaze landed on the boy he had seen earlier, the one in the thin jacket. The boy stood alone, tugging at his clothing while eyeing the toys on the table. Jack's heart sank. He moved closer, crouching down to the boy's level. "Hey there," he said gently. "Did you find something you like?" The boy's eyes darted to the colorful toys, a shy nod escaping him. Jack felt a wave of empathy wash over him. "Why don't we pick out a few together? You can take them home." With cautious, hopeful eyes the boy approached and nodded again. Together they began selecting toys, the boy slowly coming out of his shell with each choice they made. Jack's heart raced as he saw the boy's face light up. Meanwhile, the twins had gathered a small group, their excitement palpable as they shared their enthusiasm about the toys and the joy of giving. It struck Jack that these simple acts of kindness were powerful. There in that community center surrounded by giving spirits, he found himself opened up in ways he had forgotten existed. As they returned to the main room, the sound of laughter and cheer enveloped them once more. Jack took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the community wrapped around him like a protective hug. Maybe this was where he belonged. But just as he felt a sense of purpose settling in, the gradual calm was pierced by a sudden commotion from the back of the center. A voice, frantic and raised, called from beyond the gathering. "We need help." Someone else stuck outside. Jack's heart dropped as confusion surged among the crowd. The calm of the moment shattered, replaced by an undercurrent of panic. Would he step up again? Would this crisis pull him deeper within this community he had begun to embrace, or send him running back to the safe walls of solitude he once knew? Jack's instincts kicked in the moment he heard the panic in that voice. Without hesitating, he pushed through the crowd, the faces of those around him flickering from confusion to concern. He could feel the urgency in the air like an electric pulse, the communal bond still alive, now eager to react. "What happened?" he asked, catching sight of a young woman near the entrance, her hands grasping at her hair, panic etched all over her face. "They went out to their car. Oh God, it's freezing," she choked out between breaths. "The twins. They're not back yet." Even in the chaos, a motherly instinct radiated from her, a protective aura that tugged at Jack's heart. Without a moment's thought, he took charge. "Everyone," he shouted, his voice cutting through the noise, "we need volunteers to help search." A wave of hands shot up, fueled by a shared urgency. Lucy was among them, her eyes wide but determined. "I'm in," she exclaimed, moving to Jack's side. They quickly split into small teams. Jack and Lucy created a plan to search the vicinity, glancing at each other with resolve. In that moment, Jack realized this wasn't just about the twins. It was about everyone coming together, and he was at the center of it, fighting for something bigger than himself. As they burst out into the cold, the briskness hit Jack like a slap. The winter air was sharp, biting against his skin, but he pushed forward, scanning the parking lot and the street beyond. He could feel Lucy at his side, her breaths coming in visible puffs as they hurried along. "Do you think they're scared?" Lucy asked, her voice breaking through the raw wind. Jack glanced at her, a mixture of fear and determination in his chest. "I hope not. We'll find them. They're tough kids," he reassured her, though a knot of worry twisted tighter in his gut. They searched the nearest cars, calling out for the twins, their voices echoing against the backdrop of the bustling world around them. Jack recalled their laughter from earlier and how vibrant their spirits had been while sharing toys. They couldn't disappear just like that. He had to believe they would. As they rounded a corner, Jack spotted a flash of movement between two parked cars. His heart raced. "Over there!" he yelled, sprinting toward the flashes, only for his fears to grow heavier when he saw it was a small ball rolling away from him. "Jack, wait!" Lucy called, but he continued onward, urgency guiding his steps. With each heartbeat, he felt the cold seep into his bones, a chilling reminder of the stakes at hand. Only when he turned to look back did he see Lucy struggling to keep her footing on the icy pavement. "Be careful," he shouted, his voice filled with concern. She slipped but regained her balance, that same determination etched on her face. The sound of laughter, once so close, now felt like a distant memory as it faded into the harsh reality of their search. Jack's frustration grew. "Where are you?" he whispered under his breath. That's when he spotted another figure in the distance. A small silhouette, huddled by the fence, shivering against the cold, the unmistakable outline of a little jacket. "Hold on," Jack gasped, his heart racing as he moved forward. "I see someone." As he approached, he realized with a jolt that it wasn't just one child, it was both of them, bundled together, eyes wide and tears freezing on their cheeks. Relief crashed over him like a wave, but the fear was still there. They looked terrified. "Jack, help us!" the twins cried in unison as he neared. But before he could respond, the ground shifted beneath him, the world tilting against his feet. Would this moment be one of rescue or another disaster? He had stepped into a world of uncertainty where every heartbeat pushed him further into the unknown. Would he be able to save them? Or was this just the beginning of something far deeper and darker? Jack's heart raced as he stumbled forward, bracing himself against an unseen force pulling at his balance. The cold numbed his fingers, but he forced himself to focus on the twins. They looked fragile, their little bodies trembling in the freezing wind, and he fought against the reality that threatened to overwhelm him. "Hang on," he shouted, desperation spilling from his lips. He reached them, quickly bending down. "You're okay. I'm here." As he wrapped his arms around them, the warmth of their small bodies provided a flicker of hope in the bitter cold. Lucy caught up, her breath steaming in the frigid air. Relief washed over her face as she knelt beside Jack. "Thank goodness. You guys, we were so worried." Her voice was a mix of adrenaline and tenderness, soothing under the circumstances. The twins looked up at them, wide-eyed but silent. Jack's heart sank as he noticed their faces streaked with tears that had frozen at the corners of their eyes. "It's okay," he murmured, his voice softening. "You're safe now. Let us get you back inside, yeah?" He helped the twins to their feet, and they clung to him tightly. In that moment he felt their little hearts pounding, matching the frantic rhythm of his own. He turned to lead them back, his mind racing with thoughts of how close they had come to losing them. "Where did you go?" Lucy asked gently, walking alongside, keeping pace with them. The twins exchanged glances and finally, the older one spoke up, his voice barely above a whisper. "We just wanted to see the snow." Jack felt his gut twist as the weight of their innocent adventure struck him. They had wandered off, swept away by the allure of the winter wonderland, unaware of the lurking dangers. "I understand," he said, kneeling down to their level. "But it's really cold out here and you scared us. Don't do that again, okay?" They nodded, their eyes filled with remorse. Jack could feel his own anger simmer down, replaced by an aching compassion for the little ones as they navigated back toward the building. Jack was suddenly hit by an overwhelming sense of responsibility. These children were more than just kids caught in a storm. They were the embodiment of hope in a cold world. Once they reached the lobby, the warmth hit him like a gentle embrace. People were gathered, their faces a mix of concern and relief. Jack held the twins close, wanting to shield them from any more fear. "They're safe," he announced, his voice steadier than he felt. "They're okay." Cheers erupted, a collective exhale of relief. He could see Lucy smiling brightly, her eyes glowing with joy over the success of their frantic search. Yet, amid the momentary celebration, Jack felt a shift within himself. He knew this experience was a turning point, one that would change how he viewed everything around him. As the twins were whisked away by their mother, Jack found himself momentarily detached. He watched them reunite, tears of joy and gratitude flowing freely. It was a powerful sight, a reminder of the fragility of life and the warmth of family. "Jack." Lucy's voice pulled him from his reverie. She grabbed his arm, her face illuminated with a newfound energy. "You did it. We did it. But what if there's more to this? What if this is just the start?" He met her gaze, a shiver crawling down his spine, not from the cold but from the weight of her words. Jack was suddenly filled with a mix of excitement and dread. What if this was indeed only the beginning? What lay ahead in this journey they had unknowingly started? The moment hung in the air between them, charged with the possibilities of change and the uncertainty of what it might bring. It felt like the world around them had flickered, and in that moment anything seemed possible. Could they be heroes in a story larger than themselves? Or was the danger just lying in wait, ready to pull them back into the fray? Jack's heart raced again, now with anticipation. What was waiting for them in the depths of the unknown? The warmth of the lobby faded quickly as Jack's mind raced with possibilities. What did Lucy mean by "this is just the start"? He glanced around at the gathering crowd, faces filled with expectancy and admiration. He felt like a deer caught in the headlights, uncertain of what move would come next. "Jack, are you okay?" Lucy's voice cut through the buzz of voices. It was softer now, almost concerned. As she squeezed his arm gently, he blinked, focusing back on her. "Yeah, just a lot to take in." Didn't he think his voice trailed off, lost in the weight of uncertainty? Would there be more moments like this? Could he handle it? The twins' mother finally emerged from the tight huddle of people, visibly shaken but grateful beyond words. She rushed over to Jack and Lucy, her eyes wide with wonder. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea what this means to me. I thought I lost them." Jack felt the lump rising in his throat. They're okay now. They just wanted to see the snow. The sincerity of his own words surprised him. He was still reeling from the fear of nearly losing them. The woman knelt down to her children and enveloped them in a crushing embrace, her tears flowing freely. The twins melted into her arms, and it was a picture of pure relief, one that stayed with Jack. He saw the love in that moment, a reflection of his own fears about family and safety. "Jack, let us get some hot chocolate or something," Lucy suggested, trying to lighten the mood as she caught the lingering tension in his shoulders. "You look like you need it." He nodded, still entranced by the scene in front of him. He had come to terms with the chaos in his life, trying to keep it organized and ordered. Yet, this night had flipped that on its head, reminding him of the unpredictability of life as they made their way to the makeshift cafe. Whispers of Jack's heroic acts surrounded them. The warmth of the room contrasted with the biting chill of outside, where snowflakes still danced in the air, falling softly like tiny dreams yet to be fulfilled. "Jack!" A familiar voice called from across the room. It was Paul, his best friend. He rushed over, an aura of enthusiasm surrounding him. "I just heard. You found the twins. That's amazing." Jack felt a swell of pride at Paul's recognition. "Yeah, we lucked out. It could have gone a lot worse," he admitted, the joy in the cafe turning somber for him. The potential darkness loomed in the back of his mind. "But think about it. What you did tonight could change everything. You were the one who stepped up." Paul's voice was animated, filled with possibilities. "You could turn this into something powerful, maybe even start a community group or easy, Paul." "Let us not get ahead of ourselves," Jack interjected, suddenly uneasy with the idea of pursuing anything bigger than what he'd just done. "But what if this leads to something? Wouldn't you want to help more kids? More families?" Paul pressed. Jack held his breath, wrestling with his own reservations. Could he really step into a role like that? The thought echoed within him, rippling through his heart like a pebble cast into a lake. It stirred a yearning for purpose that he buried beneath his everyday routine. Lucy chimed in, "You saw how many people were impacted tonight. If you had the chance to make a difference like that again, wouldn't you take it?" He looked around. Every face seemed to hold a glimmer of hope. Each child's laughter, each story shared felt like a seed being sown in the delicate ground of this community. What if he could nurture that, help it grow? A rush of excitement met the growing anxiety as Jack exhaled slowly. Maybe I could." His resolution hung in the air, heavy with the weight of its implications. In that moment, Jack realized that perhaps he wasn't just a spectator in life anymore. What kind of hero would he choose to be next? The cafe buzzed with a cozy energy, the sound of clinking cups and soft laughter blending into a melody of comfort. Jack found solace in his steaming cup of hot chocolate, the rich aroma wrapping around him like a warm blanket. He took a sip and sighed, the sweetness momentarily dulling the lingering edge of anxiety in his chest. Paul and Lucy sat across from him, both brimming with excitement. "This is just the beginning, man," Paul said, his eyes wide with enthusiasm. "You'll see how everything changes from here." "Yeah, Jack," Lucy added, her voice soft but firm. "You've got a chance to do something amazing." He studied the two of them, trying to match their optimism. They were filled with dreams and ideas, painting a picture of possibility that felt both thrilling and overwhelmingly daunting. Jack's heart raced. What if he really could make an impact? But what would it even look like? "Let us not pressure him," Lucy said, sensing Jack's hesitation. "We can take this one step at a time." "That's true," Paul conceded, though his excitement didn't wane. "But what's the first step? Maybe we could organize a meeting and see what other people want to do." Jack felt like he was being pulled in different directions, each person's expectations adding weight to his shoulders. "I appreciate that you guys believe in me, but I'm just me," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not sure I'm ready to be a leader." "But you were a leader tonight," Lucy pointed out. "When you saw the twins in trouble, you didn't hesitate. That's a leader." Her words lingered in the air, and Jack shifted in his chair, stirring the marshmallows with his spoon as they melted into the creamy liquid. He had acted on instinct, driven by fear for the twins and the mission to protect them. But that was different than taking on responsibility, wasn't it? "What if I mess up?" he asked, his voice barely audible beneath the clatter of the cafe. "What if I fail?" Paul leaned forward, his expression serious. "You won't know until you try. And even if you do stumble, it doesn't mean you're a failure. Just means you're human." Jack felt a mixture of gratitude and frustration swell within him. Paul's words made sense in theory, but could they stand up to the weight of reality? He couldn't shake the image of the twins' frightened faces, the way they clung to him in the storm. What if he trusted himself, only to let someone down when they needed him the most? Lucy reached out, touching his arm with encouragement. "You're not in this alone. We'll be with you every step of the way." As he looked into her warm eyes, something shifted inside Jack. Perhaps this was the start of something greater, something he could shape with the help of his friends. A slow fire ignited in his belly, igniting feelings he couldn't ignore. "Okay," Jack said firmly, the weight of resolution settling on his shoulders. "I'm in. Let us see where this leads." Cheers erupted from both Lucy and Paul, and he couldn't help but smile. That smile felt brighter, more alive. As laughter echoed around them, the possibilities began to feel less intimidating. But just then, the cafe's door swung open with a chill, pulling every head toward the entrance. A woman stood there, her face pale and frightened, eyes scanning the room as if searching for something or someone. Jack's heart raced again. What was happening? The atmosphere thickened, tension creeping back. "Is anyone here?" she began, her voice breaking as she stepped further inside. Desperation palpable. Instinctively, Jack's breath caught. Was more chaos about to unfold? Or could he be ready for whatever came next? The cafe went silent, every person in the room instinctively holding their breath. Jack felt as if he were standing on a precipice, the world below buzzing with uncertainty. The woman's wide-eyed gaze seemed to sweep across the tiny tables like a plea echoing in the air. "Is anyone here?" she repeated, her voice trembling, desperation threading through her words. Jack stood, instinct pulling him forward. What do you need?" he asked, his heart pounding. The cafe no longer felt like a sanctuary. The walls felt like they were closing in, the warmth turning to an anxious chill. She rushed toward him, her hands trembling as they clasped together. I lost my children. They were playing nearby and then," she faltered, blinking back tears as her voice cracked. "I can't find them. They were supposed to come home after the snowstorm, but they haven't." Shock gripped Jack. The twins. His mind raced back to the frantic moments he had experienced earlier in the evening, the snow piling up outside as the wind roared. "What do they look like?" he asked quickly, scanning the cafe as if the twins might just appear from behind the counter. "They're twins. A boy and a girl. Around 7, wearing red hats," she explained, her voice rising in urgency. Panic clawed at him. Red hats in a swirling white landscape could easily blend into oblivion. What if they were still caught outside? "Paul, Lucy," he called, turning to his friends, their faces reflecting the weight of fear. "We have to help her. We can't just sit here." Paul nodded determinedly. "Let us go. We can split up and search the streets." "Wait," Lucy interjected, her brow furrowing. "It's dark and the storm is getting worse. We could get lost too. But we can't just let them stay out there." Jack replied, urgency fueling his words. The fire that had ignited within him earlier now blazed brightly, urging him into action. Each decision he could make felt heavier on his conscience, yet even the slightest thought of hesitating made him feel like a coward. "Okay." Lucy took a deep breath, steadiness returning to her voice. "We'll go, but we need to be smart about it. We can grab flashlights and look for the safe paths first." "Let us split into teams," Paul said, glancing between them. "Jack and I will head east and Lucy, you go west. Shout if you find anything." Jack's pulse thudded in his ears as they gathered supplies. Flashlights, hats, and scarves. He could see the stricken woman's eyes glimmering with hope and despair, and he felt a surge of responsibility crash over him. This was it. This was his moment to act. Once they stepped outside, the wind whipped against them like an icy slap. Snow whipped around their ankles, creating a surreal winter wonderland tinged with urgency. Jack's breath came in quick puffs. "Stay close," Paul said, his voice raising above the roaring wind as they moved east, their flashlights cutting beams through the swirling snow as they trudged through the thickening storm. Uncertainties crowded Jack's mind. What if they didn't find the twins? What if they were too late? But nestled under all of that panic was something new. Something he hadn't felt before: determination. He wasn't just fighting against the storm. He was fighting for those kids, for the woman who desperately needed help. With every step, Jack tried to channel all that fear into strength. "Over there." Paul shouted, and Jack's heart leaped as he pointed to a shadowy shape a few meters away. As they got closer, a familiar sound pricked at Jack's ears, the soft giggles of children. His heartbeat quickened. But what he saw next sent a jolt through him, transforming hope into dread. Are they? He breathed. But he didn't finish the question. The wind howled around them, echoing the enormity of the moment. What had they stumbled upon? Were they ready to face whatever awaited them in the driving snow? The wind howled ominously, drowning out the laughter that had caught Jack's attention. His flashlights flickered over a pile of snow, a haphazard mound that looked strangely misplaced amidst the drifts. As Jack and Paul ventured closer, the shadows shifted, and his heart raced with the fear of what they might find. Is it them? Paul whispered, his voice barely cutting through the storm. Jack couldn't respond. His throat felt tight as he stepped cautiously, praying for a glimpse of red hats. Then suddenly the laughter came again, bright and innocent, a stark contrast to the chaos around them. It was the kind of sound that could pierce through darkness, igniting a flicker of hope within Jack's chest. Lucy! He shouted into the wind, knowing she was off to the west. We found something. Over here. Paul called out as they moved further into the bizarre snowscape. Jack's pulse surged. They had to be close now, so close. Each step felt like an eternity as they dug through the blanket of white, hands gripping and clawing, desperate for signs of life. Then Jack saw them. Two figures, small, bundled, and huddled together for warmth. They sat on the ground making snow angels, utterly unaware of the storm that raged around them. Jack blinked hard, disbelief washing over him for a moment. Hey! He shouted, striding forward, the weight of his relief almost overwhelming. Are you okay? The twins looked up, their faces lighting up with recognition. We were playing. The girl shouted, her cheeks flushed from the cold. Playing? Jack echoed, disbelief thrumming through him. It's freezing out here. You can't just Jack. Paul interrupted, rushing over. They're okay. The boy, glancing up at Paul, grinned. We made a fort. He pointed to a small pile of snow shaped into walls. See? Jack's heart softened at the innocent joy radiating from the twins, but worry bubbled up alongside. Where's your mom? Not far, the girl said, her voice measured. She was looking for us, but we wanted to make more snow angels. Can we show you? Not now, Jack insisted, urging them to their feet. You have to come with us. We need to find your mom. Suddenly, Lucy burst through the swirling snow, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and relief. Oh, thank God. She rushed forward, wrapping her arms around the twins while Jack's heart thrummed in his chest. What are you doing out here? She asked, her voice a mixture of frustration and concern. We were just playing, the boy said, their innocence cutting through the tension like a light in the darkness. Your mom was so worried. Lucy knelt beside them, brushing off snowflakes. We need to get you two home. Jack felt the weight of the moment settle around him. They had found the twins. But as they began their journey back to the cafe, a heavy sense of foreboding crept back in. With each breath, the howling storm deepened around them. Jack, Paul murmured quietly, what if their mom? What if something happened to her? Jack's heart sank even lower at the suggestion. The woman's desperation had been etched into every word she spoke. Were they truly out of danger yet? As they trudged back through the storm, the sound of laughter faded into echoes of anxiety. Shadows loomed, and the storm pressed close like a threatening presence. Each step towards the cafe felt heavier, the weight of the unknown pressing down on them. They had saved the twins, but where was their mother? And would they make it back in time to protect her too? Jack could feel the chilling fingers of uncertainty creeping in, but he pushed it aside. No matter what lay ahead, he wasn't giving up. Just keep moving, he urged, breaking through the swirling chaos that threatened to envelop them once again. Would they find the woman and bring her to safety? Or was the storm harboring secrets they were yet to discover? As they pushed against the storm, Jack's resolve intensified with every gust of icy wind. The twins, Lucy and Paul, huddled together, their voices a comforting echo in the whirlwind. Yet, the weight of their mission pressed heavily on Jack's shoulders. Where was the twins' mother? Were they too late, trapped in the willingness of fate? The distance to the cafe seemed overwhelming. The blizzard howled as if mocking their effort. But with each step, Jack reminded himself, the twins were safe. They had found them. The thought emboldened him, igniting a flicker of warmth amidst the cold. "Jack, look!" Lucy shouted, shoulders raised against the biting chill. Just ahead, the cafe glowed like a warm lantern against the dark, a bastion of hope. Jack's heart raced faster. "We're almost there." He could feel adrenaline coursing through him as he grasped the twins' small hands tighter. As they stumbled through the door, the warmth enveloped them immediately. Eager faces turned their way, an electric buzz of relief palpable in the air. "You did it!" someone cried, clapping. Jack released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. But then he remembered the twins' mother waiting outside. "Where's their mom?" he called out, scanning the room frantically. "She needs help." Paul took charge, rallying volunteers and organizing a new search, but Jack's thoughts raced. They had been so close to losing the twins. Could the same fate linger for their mother? Then, before the crowd could break apart into chaos, a familiar, frantic voice broke through. "Jack!" "Thank God!" The twins' mother appeared, her breath fogging in the warm air, worry etched on her face. As soon as the twins rushed to her, she fell to her knees, the warmth of love enveloping them. Tears streamed down the mother's cheeks as she held her children tight. Jack's heart swelled, relief washing over him in waves. Just then, the enormity of the night's events crashed into Jack. He had once been lost, drifting in the storm of his existence, but now he stood anchored in this moment, alive, connected, and part of something bigger. "Thank you, thank you, thank you," the mother sobbed, holding Jack's hands in her own. "You have no idea what this means to me." In that moment, Jack felt something shift within him. It wasn't just gratitude. It was purpose, clarity. Every risk and struggle faced that night, every emotion thrumming in his chest, turned into profound realization. "I'm just glad they're home," he said softly, his voice steady yet filled with raw honesty. "And if you ever need help, I'll be right here." Lucy grinned beside him, her eyes bright with admiration. "That's what it's all about, right? Community." The room hummed in agreement, a palpable warmth exchanging between everyone present, hearts dancing like flames in the wind. "You're a hero, Jack," Paul exclaimed, pumping his fist in support of excitement. But in truth, Jack felt more than a hero. He saw the reflection of something in the faces around him, a desire to build, to support, to uplift. The night had shifted something deep inside him. He was no longer just Jack Thompson, the businessman, but a part of something spectacular, a community on the brink of change. "We should do something more," he spoke up, the energy surrounding him pushing him forward. "Start a community group, create a project to help families in need." The room erupted in cheers, genuine excitement igniting hope around them. "Count me in," Lucy exclaimed, her voice vibrant with enthusiasm. "I'm in," volunteers shouted from all corners of the cafe, willing hands eager to begin. Jack smiled, warmth radiating through him, feeling less alone than he had in years. He could see it, a flicker of light in the vast universe of possibilities. Together they could grow hope from the ashes of despair, build bridges where walls had stood. As the laughter and chatter resumed, Jack looked out at the falling snow. Each flake that danced outside held the spirit of change, each gust of wind a new chance. He wasn't lost anymore. He was guiding. There would be obstacles ahead, and the world would have its storms, but for the first time in so long, he felt ready to face them. "Let us do this," he said, raising his hands in a triumphant gesture, inviting everyone to join him and embrace the new bright future ahead. The room sparked with renewed energy, and no longer did Jack Thompson feel just like the millionaire lost in the blizzard of life. He was now Jack, a leader lighting the way for others, determined to make a real difference, one joyful act at a time. So, what if you faced your own storm? Are you ready to seek the brightness in the darkest of nights? Let us step forward together and rise as champions of hope. Now don't wait one more second. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories that light the way. Leave a like to show your support and feed the algorithm. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this transformation in the comments below. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey. Together, let us keep igniting the spark of change.